The Bahamas Federation is all our sponsors. Welcome to the final block of NATO World Hero Championships Juniors 2018.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome back to the Junior World Championships being staged here in Nassau, Bahamas. We've come to all the medal matches. It's the final block, and we're going to begin with the first of the bronze medal contest in the under 44 kilo category. Amanda Ares of Brazil faces Melanie Frigol of France. It will be Ares in the white judogi, Frigol in blue, and the referee in the middle for this one is Vyacheslav Peretyeko of Uzbekistan. Good afternoon, Gene Shin.
Good afternoon, Sheldon. How are you today?
Well, thank you very much.
Have a good break?
Yeah. Just before the break, we had seen Frigol and Ares. We'd seen both of these athletes. I have yet to pick a winner.
Yeah, it is a little tough. But I think I like Frigol a little bit better. Although, I like Frigol's movement better, but Ares is clearly a formidable opponent.
Well, she leads here after
just a few seconds.
Almost half a minute with Wazzari after going off the wrong side. I never liked that. It's become a staple, hasn't it? You know, you look to throw right-sided, they go off your left shoulder, but you come up with the score.
There is a way to finish that has become very decisive, but I think that one was more sort of just falling off the wrong side.
I think there's one that we quite often refer to as Korean.
Yes.
You know, and
or reverse Seoinage.
The reverse, which is a deliberate effort to bring them off on that side.
And not a particularly good name. It's not very descriptive, I don't think. But
no, it actually doesn't tell you anything about the look of the technique. I think it was Chae Min-ho, the under 60 kilo category fighter, maybe about 10 years or so ago, that really perfected it. Well, he perfected it to the point where he could win an Olympic gold medal with it, but it was some years before that he'd been testing it out. So it's been around for quite some time, and he kind of got stuck with the label of having first, brought it to the fore.
So, Ares coming in again for a Seoinage, but Frigol able to read it much better this time and just sprawl out. Frigol, so although I was saying that I like Frigol's motion better, she has yet to really launch any kind of decisive attack. So she's got to get going if she's going to be in this match. Oh, yeah. Coming to the outside.
Could have been across the arm there.
Yeah. So Sheldon's referring to when if you use wakigatame or any kind of armbar to throw or to take somebody down, that's a penalty, and it will disqualify you. It's illegal because it's far too dangerous to do. And has resulted in, there were several injuries that I watched. Not while I was there, but seeing. So I'm glad that it's become a rule.
Yeah, there were a couple today. One boy from Ecuador quite early on the Japanese, I think.
Koga, right. In his first match, in Koga's first match.
Gave him a bit of a scare, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, Wazzari the score on the board for Amanda Ares of Brazil. She leads with a little under 2 minutes left to go.
And she's also picked up a Shido for being too defensive. So it's interesting. She's been, she's got the score, but she's also been too defensive. She's just been playing a Jigotai kind of play when she's not attacking. So one thing that's interesting about Ares is each time we've seen her, my impression is that she's actually quite a bit larger than than the other players in this weight class. So, of course they all have to make the same weight, but it just seems to me that she's just, it's surprising to me that she's in this weight class. She just looks bigger and stronger than the others. That was an interesting escape from Newaza, and then to come up over Frigo's back, coming in for a kind of a quarter Nelson there. That's what I would call it in wrestling. Just under a minute to go. Araya still leading by Wazari in this bronze medal match.
There's just one penalty against Araya at the moment. It is, yeah.
And yeah,
too tentative, too far away, especially at this stage of the contest. You've got half a minute left to go, and you stick a foot out to
And,
like test the water.
right,
You have to be jumping in here.
right.
There's no, if it's cold, it's cold, but you've got to get in. And unfortunately, she didn't
No,
give it
no.
as much as she could have,
no.
and probably wasted,
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Got to go now.
But we've seen several matches end right at the buzzer, so it could turn around. Arayas could really do something decisive here, but she's doing a lot of backing up at the moment. Really just not doing a little entry there at the end, but that was not a really serious attack. Wouldn't be surprised if she's called for a false attack there, but no. And running off. So Arayas picks up a second Shido, but she also had the Wazari. So Arayas will take her home the first bronze medal today.
The other thing that she did that was good there was to hang on to the lead for quite a long time. That's always a tricky thing. And she only picked up, did she pick up a second Shido
Yes,
on this?
she did, yeah.
She did. Okay. Not surprising that she picked up a second Shido, but she managed to hold on to the lead for
Right.
quite some time before she ended up picking up the second Shido. So not a bad job, and not necessarily such a bad result for Melanie Frigo, who ends up with a 5th place finish. But the bronze medal goes to Amanda Arayas of Brazil.
Up next, we'll have Shafag Hamidova from Azerbaijan versus Lois Petit from France. Belgium, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's got that kind of French sound,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Yeah. And Petit also is, very, yes, right.
Petite.
So-
Petite. Yeah.
And I find it kind of ironic that she's in this weight class. It's the tiniest weight class ever.
Very true. Very true.
So we didn't see much of Hamidova today, but we had watched several matches by Lois Petit, and I was really thinking that she had a real chance to be in the finals today, but of course she ran up against, was it? Not Yoshida, but
Well, we come now to the second of the bronze medal contest. Shafag Hamidova of Azerbaijan faces Lois Petit of Belgium. It'll be Hamidova in the white judogi, Petit in blue, and the referee in the middle for this one is Lubomir Peter of Australia. There's a look at Petit as she gets ready to face Hamidova, one of 3 Azeris in this final block. The other 2 are going to go head to head, actually.
that's right, in the 55 kilo weight class. So I've learned a new term today. In
that
your
is?
commentary is Azeris. I had
Yeah.
always referred to people from that country as Azerbaijani, but Azeri is
Yeah.
so it's a new term to me.
The Azeri, yeah. It's a really tricky one, especially in that region, with that kind of ending. Wherever you've got something that ends in AN, you've got to be careful how you finish it, because it can be either correct or completely derogatory if you get it wrong.
So Azeri is the preferred term then?
Yeah, Azeri.
Well, thank you for letting me learn that.
It's okay. You give that out for free. Just thinking of a really good example without being too derogatory to anyone, but to point out what would be a mistake. We'll look at the action first,
Right.
and it will come to be both players have picked up a single Shido.
Hamidova has got an interesting neutral play where she's really moving around a lot. She's just completely bouncing around off her feet. If she gets up against somebody who gets an early grip, that's going to be really dangerous.
I've thought of one.
Uh-huh.
Someone who comes from Tajikistan.
I was wondering about some of the stands like Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan.
So that would be, oddly enough, Kyrgyzman for
Okay.
the male.
Uh-huh.
For Tajikistan, it's Tajik.
Uh-huh.
For Uzbekistan, it's Uzbek.
Mm.
And for Kazakhstan, it's Kazakh.
But what about Pakistan?
Pakistani.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah. And you need to say, you can't say, you have to say Stani. I'm not even going to say the first part, and I would suggest that you don't.
I understand, right.
Because that really is derogatory.
Right.
Sometimes people make that mistake. It's like saying Japanese
Right.
and forgetting to say anise.
Right.
That is, we would not say that in the UK, and
Not in the US either.
I certainly hope not.
Well,
But that can
not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right, we'll leave that then.
Okay.
So, 2 penalties picked up by Lois Petit. Hamidova, still just the single Shido. Minute 20 odd. I would have thought that the number 1 seed would have handled this just that little bit.
A little bit better, yeah.
Yeah.
But she hasn't come up with anything decisive.
It's a really good effort from Hamidova. And one thing I've noticed now that was different previously with the setup for Azerbaijan as far as the coaches is concerned is that they have the same coaches quite often for men and women. That was not previously the case. It's almost as though you got banished to the women's team.
Really?
With Azerbaijan, Georgia, and that sort of thing. Not now. It's a real plus because he also coaches the men.
Huh.
So and does a good job as well.
That's good.
Although he has been ejected once today, as far as I can remember. Or it could have been the other coach. He looks a lot like him, Elchin Ismailov. And they were screaming about it and trying to put him out.
I think it was the Georgian coach.
It wasn't me. No, it was it was him because
Was it?
the
Okay.
other one was Elchin Ismailov. Well, it could have been the Georgian coach as well on another occasion. But
Right.
at one stage, they were trying to put him out, and it wasn't him that had been put out before. It was Elchin Ismailov, who was hiding rather sheepishly in the back, having been warned about coaching from the chair. He was then ejected from the chair, and then he went in the stands and he started coaching from there. I think Petit is about to collect the 3rd Shido.
I think so
Disaster
too.
for the Belgian.
Yeah.
Absolute disaster.
No?
No,
Okay.
he's got away with that one. You could see her looking around. She was a little bit worried there. Time to get it over and done with.
Okay. Let's see if that's a false attack on Hamidova.
Yeah, I think
No?
it was a failed attack rather than false. There's a thin line, isn't there?
I didn't buy that myself. Oh, there's a nice little Uchimata with that Tsurugoshi kind of grip. So that's an example of these blended techniques.
Yeah, I think in that instance, I'd have looked at Hamidova and thought, is she under any pressure from the grips from Petit? No, but she's launched the attack, and the attack fails. There's no grip, there's no pressure, you know. So for me, there's an attack. She's not leading, so she's not looking to avoid getting engaged, you know, standing up or anything and trying to take advantage of wasting some time. So for me, all of those things go into suggesting that when she lost contact with the hands, it was a poor effort,
But
rather
not
than-
an insincere one.
yeah, rather than a con job,
Right.
you know. So I'd have let that one go like that, you know.
Yeah.
Not strong. It's not the
No.
strongest attack.
No.
But
Ooh,
that was close.
So that was almost a big mistake.
Yeah, that was close to being countered.
Petit really trying for something there, but completely losing control of her hands, and Hamidova having a chance to turn her through.
Slightly desperate-looking attack. Little Diashi Barra almost brought her down
almost.
there, and then again on the way down, and almost a counter.
Yeah, almost. At least turning into the pin to keep
Yeah,
the score from
yeah.
happening. And really drawing Petit down. So, tough match. 40 seconds into golden score. No score at all on the board. Petit having 2 Shidos. Hamidova having 1.
This is a good performance from Hamidova. It's been a long time coming for the Azeris to have, you know, reasonable representation in their women's program, but now, you know, time and time again, they are coming up with some useful fighters, and they don't always have to bring them in from other countries, because I know that there's been some talk about some fighters coming in from outside.
The Belgian coach, I think, not entirely pleased with what she's seeing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether she was nodding at what's about to take place as far as the referee's decision is concerned, or whether the poor performance of her own athlete. But she's again, you know, dodged a bullet, and you can hear most of the crowd, who are not all Azeris, but know a little bit about judo, thinking, hang on a minute, you know.
I heard some cheers too.
Yeah. But see, I don't think that was a false attack. He's called Mate, but yeah. Let this one go on. 1:20 into golden score. Petit, the fighter, on the knife edge here with 2 penalties. Hamidova attacking.
Hamidova.
And you know that they're going to get weaker and weaker, the
Yeah.
attacks, as they, you know, lose energy.
Right.
So,
And it's interesting how one thing Petit is missing on those attacks is an opportunity to bring Hamidova completely back. You know, Hamidova is coming in with these shallow, Sewanage sorts of attacks, but she's leaving herself completely open in terms of her own balance. If Petit just dropped and brought Hamidova back decisively, that would be enough for Owazari. And she's not doing it. So I think maybe that's something a little bit here where, you know, one of the differences between juniors and seniors is that good senior players at the World Championship level are not going to let that opportunity go by. I saw that several times last month, where a shallow attack resulted in a very decisive counter.
they really look spent now, don't they, both athletes?
Yeah.
Slow to get to their feet. I'm sure the coach is telling her just one big attack will do it.
2 minutes into golden score.
So it ended up looking untidy because Petit was able to break one hand free.
Right. And sit on her.
Yeah, and she ended up only throwing the wrong hand then.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it looked a little bit untidy. Just asking Peter, the referee, just asking the coach just to tone things down a bit.
So Hamidova has had these very consistent efforts like that compared to what Petit has been bringing in this golden score. And as unimpressive as they are, they're still attacks. And Petit is not in a position where she can allow her opponent to just attack and attack and attack unanswered like that.
She has picked up a second penalty now, Hamidova.
Ah,
I can only imagine that last one
was just
was
right.
for a false attack.
Right.
Because, you know, it was a... You know, that's that.
See there,
you know.
so she's definitely stepped it up
Yeah.
there. That was much more of an effort. But one thing that she's doing is that she's turning in, but see how her leg was completely braced out like that? She's not committing to the throw. She's coming in and defending at the same
Yeah.
time, and she's compromising her own
Ability
efforts.
to throw, yeah. By thinking about defense, you can't put everything into attack.
Right. So Petit coming in, a little bit of Ashiwaza, a little more.
3 minutes of golden score, Jean, already.
Yeah. And
she's
Hamidova,
gonna go there
that's not
Because
so
the
good.
defense there was too immediate.
Yeah.
The second that she realised that it wasn't going to happen, she was looking to defend.
Yeah. False attack on Hamidova.
Yeah.
One of the benefits to being mat side is that we can watch the referee as well as the match itself. So,
Absolutely.
so Lois Petit will come away with the second bronze medal of the day at the under 44 kilo. And up now we'll have the final.
Well, that wasn't the best of contests. However, sometimes they're a little bit difficult to watch, and that one was particularly difficult. Oh well, let's see if we can make up for things with the final. And the final is on its way now. We've got the two athletes just going through their final preparations, and here they come. Todokoro Chihiro of Japan faces Umaima Bedoui of Tunisia. Todokoro in the white judogi, Bedoui in blue, and the referee in the middle for this one is Roberto Chiolia of Italy.
And in 1-4 Japan, first time in the final in World Junior Championships.
Todokoro, of course, is the one who beat Petit in the semi. So, beating the number 1 seed, coming in.
Not unusual to have
Kochi.
Japanese in the lightweight finals.
No, not unusual at all. So, a little Koichigari for Wazari there.
The Japanese, in fact, when you look at the three lightest weights for women in Baku, had a finalist in each of the 3 weights and ended up taking 2 of the 3 gold medals.
Mm-hmm.
So only Tanaki Funa fell in the under 48 kilo category. You had Abe Uta and
Abe Hifu, right?
Yoshida Tsukasa.
Right.
You see,
Right.
Yoshida's younger sister, in the under 48 kilo category final here. Keep it in the family.
And then in the 2 lightest men's divisions, you had the 2 Japanese gold medalists there too.
That's right.
So, Todokoro showing some really, not just good technical play, but very mature tactical play here. Playing the mat, putting Bedoui out in the corner, really limiting her ability to move. So that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Bedoui. After her Wazari, Todokoro is taken a bit more. She's not quite as aggressive, so she's not making any mistakes, but she's still staying on the offensive, still coming after. Small Ashiwaza, keeping Bedoui off balance. Now really bringing Bedoui down. Really trying to, what I find, happening there is, you put that kind of pressure on somebody, and there's something like that happens where they draw their own head through and draw the penalty like that, or they work really hard to stand up. And of course, that effort to stand up is when big opportunities happen for throws. Ooh, a little Ouchigari this time. Todokoro hardly looks mussed at all. Bedoui is going to have to tidy up a bit. It's interesting how the coach on the side, the Japanese coach, is taking notes. Clearly thinking ahead.
Yeah, to the post-contest briefing. She'll tell her all the things that she could have done or should have done.
Here's what you can do better. Congratulations on your medal. Here's what you could do better. So I think Todokoro is almost overplaying Bedoui at this point. She clearly is commanding the grip. She's got, the momentum. She has really directing how all of the movement is happening. But she's got Bedoui so shut down that there's nothing open for Todokoro to take advantage of. It'll be interesting to see if she doesn't get the pin here or other kind of newaza, what she does when they stand back up. If she continues to put so much pressure on Bedoui that she just completely shuts her down and makes her clam up, or if she opens up a little bit and creates a little bit more opportunity that way. Oh, very close to getting the complete turn there. Oh, and now she's trying for Shimewaza. Going for this turn. And she has the Osaikomi.
Yeah, you're right.
Just this we saw this in Baku as well. This really unusual using the gi to tie up the upper body. And there we go. So nice versatility there, saying, okay, if I'm going to have trouble on the feet, I will beat you on the ground. It doesn't really matter to me. But I'm sure the coach will have plenty of things. Oh.
Yeah, there are a few notes being made there.
Yep. And this is
Tanimoto Ayumi.
So Sheldon's sharing a picture of me of the coach from her competition days. When is this? 2008?
She had quite a few competition days.
Yep.
This is the first gold medal for Todokoro Chihiro.
So the first gold medal goes to Japan. Todokoro. Up next, we'll have the first bronze medal match at under 55 kilos. Ibragimov from Russia versus Aybek Ulu from Kyrgyzstan. But as we saw earlier, Aybek Ulu was injured. And so Aybek Ulu will not be playing.
Yeah, unfortunately, he picked up an injury in a previous contest and he wasn't able to take part in the semi-final. That put him down into this repechage contest, and he's not fit for the repechage contest, so Ibragimov of Russia will be given the contest. There's one way of picking up a medal. I'm sure he would have liked to have had an opponent, and I'm sure he would have liked to have won it another way. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked out. But we do have a second bronze medal contest that's coming up now. Hanada Hayate of Japan faces Moises Rosado of Mexico. Handa in the white judogi, Rosado in blue.
We didn't see much of Handa today.
Hardly anything. It was on a mat that we tried to go to from time to time, but we were a bit busy. The referee in the middle for this one is Ioana Babiu of Romania. Having not seen Handa Hayate earlier on, we're going to see him now. Two coaches in the background are busy bowing away to each other there, showing their own sign of respect as the fighters took to the mat. We chatted about that earlier on. It's just it seems like just such a natural thing to do, and I was wondering why it took us so long to get round to it.
I think it's coaches just are so focused on their players, they're not thinking about anything else. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing to institute. Oh! Nice low Ashiwaza there. Honda.
Score on the board.
Yes, Wazari. Rosado came out strongly in the beginning, though, really getting Honda to hop a little bit. But Honda has come back with a vengeance.
Possible turnover here.
And if he's able to get it.
It's getting stronger.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, he's got him on his back.
Yeah.
But Rosado has the leg.
It's coming out.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep, there it is. And Osekomi. Osekomi meaning pin. He's got the hold. And Rosado's really stuck.
When he needed 10 seconds, he'd already put Wazari on the board. So 10 seconds only needed for the Osaikomi.
So quite a decisive win for Honda Hayate from Japan over Moises Rosado from Mexico.
Well, no wonder we didn't get to see much of him earlier on. If all of his contests
Were like that.
ended that quickly.
Yeah.
For Japan, Honda Hayate.
Well, that brings us quickly to the final of the under 55 kilo category. We're whizzing through these, really having had one long contest to begin with. The others have been, fairly short and sharp. Valabe Agaev of Azerbaijan faces Rovshan Aliyev, also of Azerbaijan. The two Azeri youngsters are going to make their way out there on their own. No coach, not because he's been asked to leave, which happened this morning, but because they're both from the same country, so they won't have any coaches with them. It'll be Agaev in the white judogi, Aliyev in blue, and the referee in the middle for this one is Oliver De Roses of France.
So is that no coaching thing? Is that a country's decision, or is
Yeah.
that an IJF?
No.
Yeah.
We're just down to the country. There have been times when countries have sent a coach out for each of them when they
Right.
are
But if there's only one,
polarized.
right.
But sometimes, for example, within Belgium, you may get, the Flemish part or the French part. that may go out.
Yeah.
I've seen
yeah.
the Dutch send coaches out when it's been two Dutch
Mm.
players. They may have their own personal coaches, and for some reason they send their own coaches out. But most of the time, the vast majority of time, when you see two from the same country, then it's just the two fighters who go out.
Well, this is a really good match so far. These two are very evenly matched in terms of height, reach. I think Aliyev might have a slight advantage, but both very dynamic.
Yeah, there's a little bit more than the gold medal at stake here. There's the bragging rights for when you get back to your country.
That's true.
The top dog status in the national team. All of that is going on here. Neither of them want to give an inch.
Do you fight harder when it's somebody from your own country?
I think that there are different questions, aren't there? Because you tend to know the person a great deal better. And there could be all sorts of other things that come into the mix. You fought in the national team. There's a bit of previous between you, a bit of rough stuff. You don't like the guy. It could be anything.
Could be a lot of things.
Or your training partners. You're
Yeah.
absolutely great buddies.
Yeah,
And who travel together and everything. And now you have to go head to head.
Yeah.
They could be sharing a room.
could be. Yeah.
Imagine that. And they are having to go back to the hotel together, sharing a room, and they've had a bit of a punch-up.
But one of the great things that has been so clear. Oh, I think Aliyev is getting the better of this. He's had a couple of really nice, but that Agaev picked up Wazari for that Tayatoshi he had earlier. But one thing that's been really nice to see, it was wonderful to see at the seniors last month, was just the tremendous. I'm not even going to say sportsmanship. It was Jita Kyoe, this spirit of mutual benefit that was coming out, even in fiercely fought contests, was really wonderful.
I think there's been just that little bit more of that in the last few years because of the world tour. They know each other. The athletes really know each other well now because they see each other so often and have to spend time together, whereas in the past you may not see someone for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's got quite long gaps. You would know who they were, and you would know about them, but you didn't know them. Now it's a little bit different. Training camps obviously make a difference.
Sure. Well, and something that our viewers at home don't get to see. Oh, big elevation, but a nice turn by Agaev. Something that our viewers at home won't get to see, of course, is the warm-up area, and something that happens every time I've gone back there. I see people from different countries helping each other out in some way or another, either just being a partner to do Uchikomi with, or lending each other some athletic tape, or just helping one another out. It's going on all the time.
Very true. Second penalty picked up by Agaev, and we've got a little over a minute left to go. He's going to have to be careful here.
Yeah.
It could be tears if he loses this one on penalties. It really would be.
Well, that one might be a third one. No. Okay.
There's still plenty of time.
Yeah.
Depends on his fitness levels. If his head starts to drop, he picks up another penalty.
So, even though he's got the score, Aliyev has had it all since that initial Wazari. He has really, really come after this match, trying to take it back.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that if Aliyev is clever, he's going to work him over here. Another big attack here. That wasn't
another
the
one.
one.
Oh, and there goes Wazari.
So much for my advice about what to attack with. a third attack with that modified Kataguruma was what brought him down, and now the scores are tied and 2 penalties against Agaev.
Yeah,
with 20 odd seconds left to go.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Well, it was too long for Agaev to hold him off.
And that's something you just never want to do. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of tactical kind of ability to do that kind of thing, to hold on to a lead. But holding on to a lead is just never the ideal way to win a match.
And for Aliyev, this is the worst possible thing that could happen now for Agaev to get a rest. You can see there's one person here who's desperate to get underway, and you can see the other with taking as long as he can.
So you see all that tape.
Tie his belt. Yeah.
See all that tape on Agayev's ribs. I'm pretty sure that he's got something, he's a strained cartilage perhaps, or a pulled muscle on that side, and that just makes movement difficult.
Tattoo that's healing.
That could be. That would be very bad timing to get a tattoo right before the Junior World Championships.
Yeah, sorry, that was a rather silly comment, wasn't it?
No, it could be.
Not the first.
I mean, what is he, 17? He could be.
18,
19. It's like
old enough for a tattoo, anyway.
Yeah.
Last few seconds. That was a big effort from the guy. That must have taken a bit out of him.
Yep. But good enough to stay in the match and not get called for a third penalty. 5 seconds to go. And they're both going to take it easy here.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the
not make a mistake.
Golden score period, shall we? I think you're right. Aliyev is in the ascendancy now. The force is with him. It's just a question of whether he can finish it off.
He certainly has had the higher percentage of attacks, and they've been good ones too. Nothing insincere, or even though they haven't succeeded, they've really moved Agaev around.
See, this is where he's got to be careful. The golden score period is on now, and you get very, very little leeway in the golden score period. You've got to keep up the rate of attacks. That's a second attack from Agaev. He doesn't bring him down, but he does threaten him.
Yeah.
And if they don't stop it now, then one more from Agaev, and that'll be it.
But Aliyev doesn't have any Shidos at all, so he's got...
he's got the 2 penalties against him.
Right. So Agaev is doing a good job of making sure that he doesn't draw that third Shido.
Absolutely. He's got his hands on one side there, but he's changed them now.
Oh, nice counter. And that's it.
No, for me there was a break.
There was a break?
Yeah, that's good refereeing there. There was a break. He stopped and then he came up with a push. Right. If they show you the arm with the referee here, he didn't give Wazari, and I go with him. He's been told, give the Wazari for that. And for me, there was a break there.
Oh, and Ippon, not even just a Wazari. Okay, well, it will be Aliyev for the second gold medal of the day in this all-Azeri final.
Yeah, he was the one who was down a score, wasn't he? And came back to tie things up, and then came to finish it.
That's right.
But I shall chat to Mr. De Roses later on and ask him what his opinion was, because he didn't give the Wazari at first.
No, he didn't.
And I wouldn't have either.
Right,
anyway, right. We have got the awarding ceremony for the women in the under 44 kilo category, I think, before we come to the next weight category, which is the under 48. Let's have a look at who we've got down there. I know the athletes are getting lined up. It looks as though the presentation party is also down there. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal awarding ceremony for junior women under 44 kilos.
Or even junior women under 44 kilos.
By President of the National Commission.
So here you get a chance to see, so the camera has been on them so tight this whole time that you don't really get a chance to see the actual stature of these players. Now you get a chance to see what it means to be a 44 kilogram player.
Right, the first of the bronze medals goes to Lois Petit of Belgium. That's a bronze medal as well for Amanda Ares of Brazil. Silver medal goes to Ouaima Bedoui of Tunisia. The gold medal goes to Todokoro Chihiro of Japan.
Congratulations.
Prize money and mascots are being presented by Jose Humberto Rodriguez. So we've had the first two weight categories, and now we've had the first awarding ceremony. So we're partway through the final block. And now the national anthem of Japan.
Thank you very much. Now, second picture.
Right, let's have a look at the final lineup then for the under 44 kilo category. Ares and Petit were the bronze medalists. Bedoui took the silver, and it was Todokoro who took the gold. Now, let me ask you a question. The next category coming up is the under 48 kilo category. In the final is Yoshida Sano of Japan against Dario Biladid The pair of them are in the back, and they hear the Japanese national anthem being played. Who's got the advantage? Yoshida hearing our national anthem, or Biladid knowing that she's going to fight a Japanese?
I think that they are both, okay, so for Daria Biladid, never having lost to a Japanese player, I'm sure that being the competitor that she is, this is just a spur to her to continue that streak. But
yeah, because on the 7 previous occasions that she may have heard it, she's gone out to beat them.
Yeah.
If there were other people in front of her. Anyway, probably didn't happen. Go on.
And she is, and a competitor of her, accomplishment at this point is not going to be intimidated by a piece of music.
Okay, I like that.
But on the other hand, Yoshida is going to be very pumped.
Right.
She's going to be saying,
She just heard her anthem.
I want that to hear that again.
Right, coming onto the mat now, Andrea Stoyadinov of Serbia faces Mirela Lequeta Comas of Spain. It's Stoyadinov in the white judogi, Lequeta Comas in blue. And the referee in the middle for this one is Turbat Entseteg of Mongolia.
So Lepuerta Comas has been very impressive today. The way that she's come in, she has this very powerful, aggressive, over-the-shoulder grip, I think with her left hand, and then coming in with Ouchigari. She's been very successful with that. It didn't work against Biladid, of course, but that's nothing new. So it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against Stoyadinov. Who, of course, has done well to get to this point, but her attacks just haven't had that same quality of power and aggressiveness. There's a little very, very low Sewanage. Lepuerta Comas just coming off the offside. Again, not the clean kind of reverse Sewanage that we were talking about earlier, the Korean Sewanage, just sort of a slip. So no score, I don't think. And Lepuerta coming up with a Shido already.
I've been impressed with Stoyadinov. Just fought well today. A little bit too far away with that Murate Sewanage effort.
Yeah.
Didn't get the rotation that she needed.
Nope. And Stoyadinov, I think, had seen it before, so she had really dropped her hips way, way out of position, really keeping Lepuerta Comas from coming in. There we go. See, there's Lepuerta's left hand coming over the shoulder, really coming in for that Ouchi. Oh, nice lift by Stoyadinov. That's one of the disadvantages of coming in high. You let somebody get around your back and get a grip around your hip. You can really get launched. And yet she's coming in again. She really likes that. Attacks a little bit with her left leg. Tries to get her opponent to step back. Coming in for that Uchimata or Ouchigari. A very similar kind of pattern to what Biladid does. Oh, going in for Shimewaza, but it's across the chin. Yeah. Stoyadinov has really got it. There we go. Blocked out. So, no score. Lepuerta Comas still has the one Shido. So, both players just riding the edge there. Okay. Didn't hear the referee call mate there for a little bit. So one thing I've noticed here at the juniors at these weight classes is that at this weight class and at this age, I think that it's interesting how you see the the equivalent, or this weight class at the seniors are just operating at a much higher speed than you see at the juniors at this weight class. So I think that there's still some growing to do, or maybe gaining muscle mass or something that you just don't see quite at the juniors.
I think there's also an aesthetic that's missing as well. There's a polish that they don't have. They're not the finished article yet, and some of their movements continue to look a bit
right
junior. But then we are asking a lot, because that's what they are. They're juniors.
They're
in their
juniors.
sort of
Right.
developmental stage. You'll see the difference
Right.
when Biladid comes to the tatami, who quite clearly is the finished article.
Right. Who's really phenomenal at her age to be doing what she's doing. And so, these players are, 17, 18? How old? What's the oldest they can be?
From 16 to 20.
20. And at the senior level, they're in their mid-20s. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
right. That's a big difference. That's that maturity of play that I was talking about at the beginning of the day. Seeing who is there, who is at either already at that stage of maturity or on the cusp. And that's what I saw in Koga, and what everybody sees in Biladid.
No score. We're going to need a period of golden score to sort this one out. Stoyanov rather cleverly just waiting for the referee to indicate whether she wanted her to tidy her gi up or not, and she didn't give the indication, so she just left it.
So that was a little untidy, that exchange.
Going into golden score with 2 penalties against you is always a really, really tricky thing.
Did we see what that second penalty was for? I missed it.
I didn't. A single slip here,
Yeah.
and that'll be the end of it. Whereas Stoyanov can afford to make, at least one.
And it makes a difference, because if you've been called for, if you've been called for passivity, for example, you have got to increase the pace of your attacks. But if you've been called for defensiveness, that's a little bit different. So it'll be interesting to see what La Puerta comes up with here in this next exchange.
Well, if Stoyanov wanted to be a real spoiler, she would just close things down so much that neither of them could do anything.
Right.
They would then both be penalised and she'd win.
But that's not the best way to win.
No,
but
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And
So
the first thing that she did was to try to throw her.
yeah. So she's not a spoiler. That's
No,
good.
No. She likes the idea of finishing things off with a big score. I'm not sure what the last action was, but they had a look at it.
Yep. Okay, nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
39, 40 seconds into golden score. And we've got this strong left to right grip. Both players really turn to the side. La Puerta starting to turn to the referee and say, hey, what's she doing? My new good friend, Loretta Cusack-Doyle, has a lot to say about that kind of thing. If the player starts interacting with the referee, it means that you've stopped playing the game and you're starting to play something else. Oh, there we go. Big Ouchigari for Stoyanov to throw La Puerta. For, I think it was an ippon. I didn't quite see the referee.
The Ouchigari was the first.
Yep.
That didn't come off, and as you came in for Kochigaki to finish it off. That was the end. The Ouchigari had her hopping backwards.
And then she finished
and
with
then she
Kochigaki.
finished with Kochigaki. It was a nice little change there. I think we're going to see that Miro's all over that as far as the replay is concerned. I hope so, anyway.
And Stoyanov clearly moved by this. See, Ouchigari. Yeah,
She has the little tap.
Do you
Look,
see?
Tap Kochigaki.
Oh, Kochigake. Okay.
What brings her down.
Okay.
She has the little tap with the Ouchi. Same leg. Here, look. Tap, then the
Yeah.
Kochigaki.
Right.
Brings her down.
Winner and bronze medalist for junior women under 48.
I was just calling it Kochigari. But, yep, that's good. Yep.
Because it's really...
It was a hook.
The hook, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the push.
Right. As opposed to
A
a
sweep.
cut.
Yeah.
Right.
or a reap.
Right.
They say,
Right.
given
Right.
what we were chatting about earlier
That's
this
right.
morning.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Right, we come now to the second of the bronze medal contests. Galia Tinbayeva of Kazakhstan faces Laura Martinez Abelenda of Spain. It's Tinbayeva in the white judogi, Martinez Abelenda in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Artur Fando of Belarus. There are the two fighters waiting to come in. Seen either of these two today, Gene?
We saw Martinez Abelenda once or twice. I don't remember seeing Tinbayeva at all. Yeah, just the one time. Twice. Oh, okay. Right, she's the first seed. So to see her in the bronze medal match is a little bit, of an upset. But
Well,
of course,
who she had in the semi-final.
yeah, she had
Yoshida.
Yoshida.
Semi-final.
So that's why.
So what we've got here is the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed, Tinbayeva. So they're not far off their goals. That was the number 2 seed,
Uh-huh.
Tinbayeva,
Right,
and there was your number 1.
right.
Both defeated once today, and that's put them in this bronze medal position. So somebody is going to go home at least one place off their seed position. If Martinez takes this, okay, she was number 1 seed and ends up 3rd. If Tinbayeva takes this, she was number 2 seed and ends up 3rd. So, but neither of them are going to want to end up 5th.
No. Nobody's happy with 5th. So Tinbayeva in for Kataguruma, but not deep enough. Martinez Abelenda in for the Wazari.
Just a single loss to Yoshida for Martinez Abelenda. Must be wondering, what if?
What if?
You know, if only.
Yeah.
Maybe she could have been going up against Biladid in the final.
So that's interesting, a thing, that sparks a thought in my mind. So what do you think about, how does Biladid feel now? Do you think that she has any sense of how everybody's gunning for her now? Do you think that is something that's a factor in her calculations, or is that something that you think she even thinks about?
I think she's absolutely aware that everybody's gunning for her. She was gunning for everyone else when, she wasn't number 1.
Uh-huh.
So she must be aware that that will be the case. Whether that gives her any sleepless nights or whatever, I doubt it. There's so much else for her to be thinking about. She just knows, that she is a target, and she has to accept that. That's what every number 1 has got to
Sure.
get used to.
But it's interesting how you can see sometimes, you can just see how that affects some of the people who make it to the top, and they feel that their position is precarious, but others feel like that this is their place.
I've got to protect it.
It's up to you to come and get me, but but it doesn't bother them. It doesn't discommode them.
I think there's another thing as well, and I feel for someone like Nemanja Majdov, who won the World Championships, in 2017, wasn't able to defend it in 2018, irrespective of the fact that he was absolutely desperate to defend his title.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't have it.
Right.
Which was unfortunate for him.
Right.
But he simply was not able to come up with the kind of performance that would bring him even close.
And
Is that
what
the
weight class
second
is that?
score?
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Martinez Abalenda with the Wazario Awasete Ippon.
She looked the more likely of the two to score, didn't she?
Yeah.
Strong,
Her posture was really
Yeah.
good. Her stance
Yeah.
was excellent.
confident, moving well.
Yep.
And in a way, that's a bit of a save for her because she's going to be on the medal podium. She's picking up a bronze medal at the Junior World Championships. She's not going to go back empty-handed, albeit a bronze instead of the gold that she would have liked, having come in here as the number 1 seed.
But coming in third behind Yoshida and Bilodid is
Yeah.
it's not shabby.
She's going to be standing on the podium next to these two athletes.
Right.
Exactly next to which one remains to be seen, because here they come, the final of the under 48 kilo category. Yoshida Sana of Japan faces Dario Bilodid of Ukraine. It'll be Yoshida in the white judogi, Bilodid in blue, and the referee in the middle for this one is Roberto Correa of Chile.
So will Bilodid hold on to her undefeated streak against Japanese players, or will Yoshida be the first to shake this this stellar player that has so impressed the judo world?
Can Yoshida join her sister as a world champion? Her sister is the current world champion at under 57 kilos. This is 48 kilos, a couple of weight categories lighter. All sorts of questions.
All
to be
sorts of
answered
questions.
here.
So Bilodid coming in with that signature Ochi, and then coming in again for this Sankaku that she so favors and is so effective at. But Yoshida doing a great job of keeping Bilodid from locking it up. She just never really had it, even though Bilodid was really driving. And again with the Ochigari, again, still very solid. But Yoshida doing a great job of retaining her feet, hopping around, but but not being taken down the way Bilodid has been able to with so many players.
Yoshida's just got to be that little bit careful. First of all, with the competition area, but second of all, with the tempo, because she can't afford to be defending for too long.
Right.
She's got to come up with some kind of attack of her own.
Right.
And this is what happened with Tanaki Funa.
Right.
This is a similar shape to the contest with Tanaki. The long reach, long limbs, attacks in different directions. It was all a little bit too much for Tanaki to deal with, and it's looking like a similar pattern for Yoshida here. First time that she looked to show any aggression, had the right arm around the waist, but they ran out of space in the competition area.
The other thing that Bilodid does, which is so difficult to deal with, is she not only has this long reach, but then she crushes her opponents in so close that they can't get anything going on their own. So that leaves Bilodid open to do this big Ochigari or Uchimata that she really likes. Nice response by Yoshida coming in for that Kosoto.
It's an important point that Jean makes about the crushing. When Bilodid takes a strong grip, you see this with the right arm that goes up and around the collar. Once she has that, it's the left arm this time, there's an attack.
Yep.
So she crushes down, it means that her opponent can't attack, but she attacks.
Right.
So she can't pick up a penalty.
Right. So Yoshida seems to have found a nice little answer. Bilodid has had several of her attacks, and it has not thrown Yoshida. Yoshida has found a way to keep Bilodid from finalizing her executions, which has been so effective against so many people. But Yoshida's now got 2 Shidos. Oh, and there's the Uchimata.
She walked onto it.
Yep. And there, Bilodid finally was able to get in. But it took a while. It took almost 2 minutes. And several attacks. She had to attack several times. So Yoshida gave her a really good match. But it really was Bilodid's match the whole time.
Full house for Bilodid. Cadet World, Cadet Junior, Cadet World, Junior World, Senior World Champion. You name it, I've won it.
Bilodid retains her undefeated status and now is world champion on 2 levels.
3.
3 levels.
Well, 2 at the moment.
Right.
But 1 previously, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where do we go wrong here? I mean, she's attacking, she's trying to put pressure on the edge. She's just leaning forward. There's plenty of room for Bilodid to get in for this Uchimata here.
Well, Bilodid actually came in, almost on the outside, almost like this Surigoshi.
Yeah.
So she really compromised Yoshida's upper body at that point. And that's when Yoshida could no longer keep it from happening. So, this variety, the way that Bilodid is able to constantly adjust this single set of attacks remains just incredibly effective.
Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for men in the under 55 kilo category.
Bronze medalists are for Japan, Handa Hayate.
The first of the bronze medals goes to Handa Hayate of Japan. And there's a bronze medal too for Imam Ibragimov of Russia.
The silver medalist representing Azerbaijan.
The silver medal goes to Balaybe Agaev of Azerbaijan. Now the gold medal goes to Rovshan Aliyev of Azerbaijan.
The prize money and the mascot will be presented by Senior Education Sport Officer of Bahamas, Mr. Ivan Wisdom.
So we waited for the moment when Bilodid would face Yoshida, and I don't think we were disappointed. There was a lot to look at. I mean, we didn't get to see Yoshida. Sorry. Really didn't get to see her in that final.
No, we didn't. We got to see her try to fend off Bilodid, but we didn't get to see her attack. But that just goes to show again how really overwhelming Bilodid's entire strategy is and how well she's able to execute it against just about everybody. So, so the question remains open.
Exactly.
Who's going to find it?
And I was just going to say, you asked that question this morning. It remains, valid now. Who's going to discover the weakness? Who's going to find that chink in the armor that says, this is how you attack her, this is what you do, this is how you shut down that area, or that, or that.
Right.
We don't know yet.
Yep. And I think that...
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
And now the national anthem of Azerbaijan.
Thank you very much. Now, family picture with the ladies.
I think that may be the first time I've heard the Azerbaijan national anthem.
It's not one you're going to forget in a hurry.
No, I mean, I love the Japanese national anthem, but we've heard it a lot. That was a really beautiful piece of music.
Ibragimov and Handa were the bronze medalists. The gold medal, the silver medal went to Agaev, and the gold medal went to his teammate Aliev. Okay, we have got the last of the weight categories today. We just had the 4 weight categories. We've got the last of the weight categories coming up next. It's the under 60 kilo category, and the first of the bronze medal contest that we're going to see features Boyezhan Nabayev of Kazakhstan. He's up against Renan Torres of Brazil. It'll be Nabayev in the white judogi, Torres in blue. And the referee in the middle for this one is Roland Poigart of Austria. And you were saying about the conundrum with Biladid, sorry.
So, something you mentioned earlier sparked a thought in my mind about how Biladid is just on the beginning of something that, like somebody like Teddy Riner has, the legacy of Teddy Riner, 10 years as world champion at plus 100 kilos. But the difference is the weight class makes all the difference in the world. I mean, nobody, I think, is going to be a 10-year world champion at 48 kilos simply because, unless you're, a tiny person as a mature adult, you're just not going to stay there in terms of your weight and your growth. Daria Biladid has done an amazing thing to achieve what she's done at 17, but she has still growing to do. So, if she's able to, so as she grows, she's either going to go up into another weight class or she's going to retire, and she's going to be facing different people at other weight classes, like Abe Uta at 52 kilos, and that's a totally different prospect to what she's facing now. So it may be that what happens is that she just ages out, or gets to the point where she can no longer sustain the cut to stay at 48 kilos. So those may be factors that solve this conundrum as well. It's not just, somebody coming in and finding the answer. So, Nabayev from Kazakhstan in white, Torres in blue. Torres has already picked up Ishido.
Yeah, I was thinking about what Jin Shin was saying there, and not wanting to, pour water on his fire.
But you're going to anyway.
but I am. Right?
That's fine.
And I suppose a few of you.
It's just a thought.
Well, no, it's a very good thought, and it made me think about Tani Ryoko.
Of course.
Who won her first world title in 1993, and 10 years later was winning another world title. And not only did she go in 2003, she went 2004, 2007 and 2008. So that is exceptional. I cannot think of another lightweight like that. Then I would go to the men and say that someone like Nomura Tadahiro, who ended up winning 3 Olympic titles, and that's normally over a 12-year cycle.
Sure.
But those were both people who came to the 60 kilo category and came to the under 48 kilo category as finished articles. They were not going to get any bigger.
No.
That's completely different from Daria Biladid, who I believe is holding her weight at 48 for this cycle, and immediately that's finished. She's going to do exactly what Kei Sun-hee did from the DPRK and go from 48 to 52 and 57 and won Olympic titles and world titles in 3 different weights. That's where I think we're going to go with Biladid. So her 10-year period of success, if it is,
if it is.
If she does go for that long, will be spread over 3 weight categories rather than one, like Tani and Nomura, and she will be more along the lines of someone like Kei Sun-hee or Cho Min-sun from the Republic of Korea, who won at all different weights. And I think there's probably...
Or like Kerpalik hopes to do.
Well, Kerpalik, he's gone a couple.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see, something that's got a bigger thing than one jump, where you do like 3.
Right.
For example, with the coach from Mongolia here, Hashbatan Saganbata, who was a bronze medalist at the Athens Olympics at under 60 kilo category, world champion in Rotterdam at 66, and Paris Grand Slam gold medal at 73. So, then you can talk about a long period in different weights.
In different weights.
And so Jean's point, I'm going to agree with. It could happen, but it won't happen at 48.
Right.
The suggestion is that Billedid is going to go at different weight categories. If she has the longevity, it won't be at 48, and it won't be because she can't do it, just because she won't be able to sustain that weight.
And I think I agree with everything you're saying, but the thing that almost it's good to watch the judo too.
The great thing at home is that you can watch. No score between Navaev and Torres. The difficult thing for Torres, however, is that he's picked up 2 penalties and we're going into the golden score period. So a single Shido to Torres in the golden score period would end it for him, whereas Nabaev is still in this penalty 3. That was a great effort at the end there. Jean.
Really great. So the one thing, though, that that Billedid faces that some of these other players didn't, who went through multiple weight classes, is Abe Uta. Abe Uta, I feel like, she, in my mind, what I've seen of her already, I would compare her to Tane Ryoko in what she's in her play, in her energy, in her precision, in her technical virtuosity. She is just on another plane in terms of her overall judo. She's incredibly versatile. She's so assertive. She's very un-Japanese in how she comes out and just brings. She's like a blast furnace when she comes out and plays, and she doesn't have any one single attack. She will face you and adjust to what you do and beat you however you're playing. The way that she played Bouchard at the World Championships last month was
played is a good word as
just
well.
Stunning. That armbar that just went over and over, and she was just not going to let it go until she got it. So that is going to be an enormous obstacle if and when Billedid ever goes up to 52, assuming Uta stays at 52 as well. So if anybody's going to come up with the answer, it would be her. But we'll have to see. And then it will be interesting to see, what happens if and when Billedid does go up a weight class. She'll feel more comfortable. She won't be cutting as much. But that's a different level of, it's a different mass. It's a different level of strength. It's a, slightly different level of play. So, it's an interesting thing to consider.
Yeah, when a fighter moves a weight category, it's not completely starting from scratch, but what you do is you move into someone else's territory. It's their, terrain, and you have to see whether or not you can step up and bring the same kind of command and control that you had in your weight category in the new weight category. And Abe is young. She's just a few months older than Billedid. And it doesn't look as though she's going anywhere. She's not going to go 57. 52 looks like the weight that she's set at. But I'll go back to Kei Sun-hee. And Kei Sun-hee also had to move into a weight category that had a South Korean, Hyun Suk-hee. She was there as world champion. She then when she moved up to 57 kilos, there was Yvonne Bernish and the Spaniard Isabel Fernandez. That's going to
there we go.
Couldn't stop him in the end.
Nope. And so the Brazilian lifted and turned Kazakhstan, which is so unusual. That's
So
kind of a
Kazakh.
turn of events, the Kazakh, just
Yeah.
because that's something that's so common in Kazakh judo.
I mean, I could go through the list of people that Kason he ended up beating as she moved through the weights.
Uh-huh.
Sato Aiko, the Cuban Lupetti. You know, there were just so many good fighters that time, and she managed them.
Yeah.
You know, bit by
Yeah.
bit. She said, "Okay, this is my weight
Yeah.
category." She was exceptional. Tani was exceptional. Kason he was exceptional. Nomura was exceptional in exactly the same way that you're saying Rine is. You never know.
Yeah.
Could be.
And now
Billedid will be.
And Billedid is clearly overpowered for her weight class. She clearly overpowers the
easy,
people
yeah,
in her weight
yeah.
class. And so I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see if that translates up the weight class. Will she be able to depend on the same kind of thing? Because right now, her attack is incredibly, she's got a very, very successful, very set strategy, but it's very, very defined in its scope. And so, you come up against somebody like Abe Uta, who's got such a broad spectrum of technique and attacks. It's just going to be a different game.
We shall see. Coming up next, the second of the bronze medal contests. It features Samet Kumtas of
Yep.
Turkey. He's up against Jaba Papinashvili of Georgia. It'll be Kumtas in the white judogi, Papinashvili in blue, and the referee in the middle. But this one is Friedrich Anna Maria of Hungary. Here's Gene.
That was a nice lift there. It's almost with Tsudegoshi, but he doesn't switch his hip. Just comes in, brings him up, drops him over. And you can see part of me is going, ouch, looking at that
That
knee
right
there.
leg lift. Oh, where's that going?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so up now we've got Kumtas Samet from Turkey versus Jaba Papinashvili from Georgia. Papinashvili, who enjoyed being gold medalist at 55 kilos last year, but will have to settle for at least a bronze. Oh!
Yeah. Was she called Mate already? I think.
Yeah,
called
she had
Mate.
called. She had called Mate.
'Cause that was going to score. wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Ooh.
there was a time when both fighters went to the ground. So when they stood up, it was the end of the nearwaza, and that's a mate.
Right.
That's the difference there.
Right.
Both fighters had gone to ground. If only one had gone and another had stayed standing up, that action could have continued because nearwaza hadn't begun yet. But when they both went to the ground, it became a nearwaza situation. So any standing up after that would be classed as the end of the nearwaza, and a mate would be called.
So that's why that, even though it looked like a continuous action
Yeah.
for the throw, that's why there was no score. But it was so fast that it would be easy to miss.
Well, it was, and at 60 kilos, they do move very quickly, don't they?
Yeah. But even so, even though these two do move very quickly, watching the difference between the junior world championships and the senior world championships, you could see how they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, they're not the finished article.
Yeah.
Although Jaba has won a Grand Prix medal. Jaba Papinashvili, as a junior, he's already won a Grand Prix medal.
That's good.
Mind you, it's nothing compared to, we go back to Billedid, senior world champion. It's a Grand Prix
And there's
medal.
no doubt. There's just no doubt. I mean, she's an extraordinary, extraordinary player. She's
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and truly, literally extraordinary.
I'm sorry if, for you at home, if you're not a Billedid fan, and we've been banging on about the young Ukrainian so much. However, she is quite exceptional. We'll bang on a little bit about Koga Genki when he comes on.
Oh yeah. So it's interesting that Abe Uta is not here today. She certainly could have been.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
Should have been.
but that's something that has been interesting to look at in the Japanese strategy.
Well, there's a good reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Billedid is here in order to acquire a larger number of qualification points that will ease her situation when it comes to where she will be in Tokyo. We're
In
on the
2020.
ranking list in 2020.
Right.
Makes it easy. Pick up another 700 points here. Lovely. Abby doesn't need points.
Hmm.
She doesn't have to qualify.
Okay.
The Japanese get a pick.
And nobody's going to,
And,
unless
you know.
something happens between now and then. But
So that's it.
right.
They don't have to qualify.
Hmm.
And irrespective of what number of points she has, it won't be up to the world ranking list to decide who Japan sends. You could have the number 4 go. For example, Takayama, who's number 4 on the IGF world ranking list at under 78 kilos, could go ahead of any of the other 3 that are ahead, because every event she's been to, she's medalled. Takayama.
Ooh.
Score.
Yep. And the scoreboard. There we go. Yep. For Papinashvili.
Yeah, so it's an interesting situation as far as where the Japanese decide to send their fighters and why, because qualification doesn't apply to them.
So, for the people who don't know, would you do a brief explanation of why that is? Why doesn't it?
The host nation, which is Japan, because the games are being held in 2020 in Tokyo, are allowed to enter 1 athlete in each of the 7 categories for women and 7 categories for men. So they will send a full team of 14 judoka to Tokyo, and it is up to them to decide who they send, as opposed to lovely.
There we go. Nice
Lovely
finish by
athletes,
Papinashvili.
Yes, up to them to decide who they send. Whereas, let's say a strong team like Russia, who may have 3 athletes in qualified positions, once you have more than 1 athlete, it's then up to the national federation to decide which of the qualified athletes they send.
Mhm.
The other 2 will then drop out. So that's the qualification process. And with some, it's also a question of the National Olympic Committee. They can decide. So some countries have the National Federation deciding who goes, and some have the NOC deciding who goes. But the NOC normally does that on the advice of the National Federation anyway.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So there was that nice concluding Ashiwaza, a little bit of... He was actually bringing him down with his hands even before his leg came in. So that De Ashiharai was just a nice finish.
Yeah, the first week was nice. I liked the modified Kataguruma earlier on as well. That
Yeah.
was neat.
And it's different with his legs way to the outside instead of coming in underneath. So here we have our last match of the day.
The final of the under 60 kilo category. Koga Genki of Japan faces Konishi Seshiro, also of Japan. No coaches involved in here. And having spoken about her early on and saying how great she was, here she is in the middle. Hyun Suki of the Republic of Korea is the referee in the middle for this one. Love her to bits.
Oh, she's wonderful. Yeah.
So, final of the under 60 kilo category.
Ah.
White gi, Koga. Konishi in blue. Jin Shin's going to love this one.
I am going to love this one.
This is going to be a real bust-up. Here we go.
So even though Koga was the one that I had picked early in the day, at the beginning of the day, I'm so impressed with Konishi as well. So I'm glad I don't have money on this match.
Well, you're 100% at the moment. You picked 2. They both made it to the finals.
Yep.
One has already won. So I'd say you're about 75% done already.
Yeah.
Koga finishes this. The bears are on me.
Okay.
Dig out some of those vouchers that they give me.
Won't say no to that. Both players being very careful about what they're allowing in terms of, getting a grip, because they know that, as we've seen, both of them are really good at launching attacks, simultaneous with establishing a grip. So it takes almost no time for throws to occur between being completely disengaged and establishing a grip. Konishi with the more aggressive launches right now, and Koga therefore picking up first Shido, first penalty for passivity. And I think that's right. Koga is the one who's playing a more conservative game at the moment. He's definitely the more conservative player of the two. Konishi is definitely more aggressive and coming in, but Koga is clearly a powerful finisher. And if Konishi makes a mistake in some of these more dynamic movements, Koga will take advantage of them. We talked earlier about some of the younger players missing opportunities for counters. That's not going to happen here. Both of these players are clearly quite capable of countering at the least opportunity. Oh. Konishi picking up a finger in the eye there.
It's okay, he's got another one.
Yeah.
As my coach used to say. And they're going to attack him on that left side. He's
yeah.
blindsided.
And you can see this, oh man, this amazing kumikata going on, but also ashiwaza going on at the same time. You know, both players have perfect posture and stance. Oh, Konishi in for a big koshiwaza. Koshiguruma, but not getting his hip in, and because Koga had stepped around, so Konishi not able to commit fully.
Again, here's a situation where you would expect that the two lightweights would travel together and room together, and now here's the head-to-head. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes it happens. You just got to play. So an element of professionalism, being able to put any kind of personal feelings aside and say, I'm going to give you my best possible match. And recognizing that it's not personal. Koga trying to
rested him down nicely,
yeah,
didn't he?
very nice, very polite.
Slap him with a Kataguruma.
So again, simultaneously gripping and attacking with Ashiwaza. Down for Kataguruma, but Koga easily stepping out of it. Really shutting it down. 40 seconds already left in this match. This match has just flown by. But Konishi has two Shidos. To Koga's one. Both players just frantically trying to get a grip. Oh, nice little Ashiwaza by Koga, getting Konishi to stumble just a little bit. 10 seconds left in the match. Konishi being directed to fix his gi, tie his belt. Okay, we're going to head into golden score. Both players recognizing mutually that they're not going to try and risk something in the last few seconds of regulation time. Koga in for a big grip. Konishi shrugging it off. Koga in for a drop. Tayatoshi and for the Wazari. Oh, beautiful deep execution. Beautiful driving deep. Tayatoshi, Seotoshi. It was hard to see from the angle we were at. He didn't have his leg extended across. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a blended throw, but really bringing Konishi down for a very solid Wazari.
Well, Jin Shin, 100% record today. 2 picks, Biladid and Koga, and both of them came up trumps. Well done, mate.
Oh, well, thank you. So we'll try again tomorrow. See
all
what.
Done and dusted by
all done and
5:30.
dusted.
That wasn't bad, is it? We've got 2 awarding ceremonies to bring you, so stay around. We will have the medal presentation. And if you can't hang on and you want to race off, then we'll just let you know that we'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock with more action from Nassau and the Junior World Championships.
So he came in with a almost a Seoi Otoshi entry, but then finished with this low Osoto Otoshi finish. It wasn't an Osoto Gari because he didn't cut the leg, but he kept driving downwards with that leg hooking around the outside.
We come to the awarding ceremony for the women in the under 48 kilo category, and the first of the bronze medals goes to Andrea Stojadinov of Serbia. There's also a bronze medal for Laura Martinez Abelenda of Spain. Silver medalist is Yoshida Sana of Japan. The gold medal goes to Daria Biladid of Ukraine, and the medals are being presented by the president of the International Judo Federation, Mr. Marius Wiese. The checks and souvenirs or mascots are being presented by the president of the Bahamian Judo Federation, Mr. Diasi Rami. Sat a few tables away from him at dinner last night, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
He never paid though, did he?
Did he?
I was thinking he might, come up and say, hey, dinner's on me, guys.
Ah, well.
made us use our coupon to cover the dinner. He's doing a great job. He really is, given the understandably, small history that they've had with regard to staging events. They've done a really good job here. And now the national anthem of Ukraine. So Brand Biladid continues its march onward then, yeah?
The Ukraine national anthem has become more familiar.
As she adds another gold medal to her list. 7 out of 7. She faced the Japanese 7 times. I know we keep banging on about it, but it is a unique record.
Yes.
Why not?
And nothing small, given the continued dominance that Japan enjoys in the world of judo.
3 world championship titles, cadet, junior and senior. She's also picked up 2 Grand Slams. She's only ever fought at 2 Grand Slams, won both of them. She's fought at 4 continental championships, won all of them. 4 Grand Prix, she picked up a bronze medal once, and then once at a Continental Open won that. So
all before 18.
yeah, just, you have to go back a year for the only time that she's ever been off the podium. Just once. Once in her whole career she ever failed to make the podium.
And that was at the World Senior Championships.
Senior World Championships, yeah, as a 16-year-old.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a disappointment.
Well, she lost out to the Kazakh fighter who had previously fought for Mongolia, Galbadrak. And the year later, she had to fight her
Mm-hmm.
and gave us such a smash. It's like you know, you did me, okay, I'm going to have to do you. But it's 2 years now since she ended up anywhere other than on the #1 spot. Although in Hohhot she was on the podium, but as a bronze medalist. That was her first ever Grand Prix. Terrific record for a youngster.
And so again, only 4 losses
Yeah, throughout the whole career.
throughout her entire.
Yeah.
That's quite.
3 of which ended up on podiums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I think we've, exhausted the Biladid story. We've got the awarding ceremony for the men in the under 60 kilo category coming up, and perhaps we will have another story, and that story in the making is Koga Genki. Why not? Yeah?
Why not? Following in his father's footsteps.
The medals are going to be presented by former Olympic champion Yamashita Yasuhiro. And the first of the bronze medals goes to Jabba Papinashvili of Georgia. There's a bronze medal for Renan Torres of Brazil. Silver medal goes to Konishi Seishiro of Japan. The gold medal goes to Koga Genki of Japan. Japan top the medal table at the moment with 2 gold, 2 silver and a bronze medal. Azerbaijan are in second place with a gold and a silver, and there's a gold medal for Ukraine. We're going to be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock with more action from day 2 of the Junior World Championships here in Bahamas. But from Jean Chin and myself and the rest of the broadcast team here, it's bye-bye for now.
Good afternoon. See you tomorrow.
We're going to leave you with the national anthem of Japan. Take care. Bye-bye.